Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Pale Kale, and you're watching Disney Channel. No, you're not watching Disney Channel. You are watching Beauty and B movies with me, Pale Kale. And I got a question for you. Do you like slumber parties? If you like slumber parties, if you like campy 80s horror, if you like unexplainable killers that for some reason have a super, super metal drill guitar, you've come to the right place. Today we are watching Slumber Party Massacre 2. And I know what you're thinking. Why would you review a sequel and not review the original? Well, multiple reasons. First and foremost, the sequel to this one, in a rare turn of events, is actually way better than the original. There's way more to make fun of in the sequel as well, which, you know, of course I enjoy. And there's a way more interesting killer and a way more interesting group of characters. So I'm just going to jump in, review the sequel, and kind of talk about my thoughts, my ramblings, and my feelings about Slumber Party Massacre 2. If you want to see me review Slumber Party Massacre 2 and achieve this makeup look, just keep on watching. I tried to make the clips work. They're these cute little Buttercup Powerpuff Girls clips, but they don't work, so we're not going to do the clips. We're just going to keep my hair out of my face. Hopefully that will work, but I can't do the clips. My forehead looks big enough as it is. We don't need to add anything to it. Okay, I'm just gonna jump right into it because I have a feeling this is gonna be long because I had a lot to say about a lot of this movie, and you'll soon understand why that is. It's hectic and chaotic and crazy. I'm just using a little bit of this Milani. It's like a primer with a little scoop. Really good for pores. Makes a huge difference. So, Slumber Party Massacre 2. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do like the whole plot point, like the whole plot explanation, the summary, if you will, at the end. And then right now I'm just gonna go into the individual plot points. So we opened the film with our protagonist. Her name is Courtney. She is our protagonist. She was in the original film as well. The first and second movie have nothing to do with each other. The only things that they have to do with each other is that the protagonist, Courtney, she's in the first film. She's like the little sister in the first film. And she's really funny in the first movie. In the second one, she's kind of dealing with, you know, leftover trauma from the events of the first movie, which basically the first movie was just her sister and her live next door to a house where people are having slumber parties, and a murderer comes and kills all of them except for Courtney and her older sister. So yeah, spoilers abound for not only the movie I'm reviewing, but the one that came before this one. Sorry. I'm doing this one just because I feel like the second one was way better than the first one in regards to how funny and crazy it was. So I would rather just go straight into the second one. So I'm gonna do that. We open up with Courtney. She is now a teenager. In the first film, she was like a little kid. She was definitely wise beyond her years, swore a lot, was super funny. Now she is a teenager. She actually seems super different in this one than she did in the original. In the original, she's kind of like wisecracking, like tomboy. She was like obsessed with sex, kind of. And this one, I don't know. This one, she seems a little bit more demure. She seems a little bit more docile, and she's definitely dealing with some trauma after the events of the first film, which is understandable. If you've been through something traumatic or tragic, a lot of times your personality can change a little bit, so I guess that makes sense. But we open with Courtney having a dream about her crush. His name's Matt. We'll meet him in a little bit. He is very attractive, and he is also certainly 35 years old, so love that. I think he's playing like a 17 or 18-year-old, because I know Courtney is 17, because this takes place around the events of Courtney's 17th birthday. So I'm assuming Matt is supposed to be around the same age. The actor definitely was not. I mean, I didn't research it or anything because, you know, I didn't go that far, but based on looks, it's definitely a 30-year-old man. All right, I had to blend out the base, but now here we are and look so luminous and beautiful. Oh my goodness. So much better. Anyway, so we open the film with Courtney having some really cute little dreams about Matt, her crush, but then this turns into a nightmare because trauma, so relatable. It turns into a nightmare basically about her sister and how her sister is now in like a mental hospital after the events of the first film. Her sister was a lot more the focus in the original film, and now Courtney is kind of like a supporting character that they're following into the sequel. Oh, that's nice, Clover. Yeah, please take a bath in the spot where I sleep every night. I love that. That is super, super cool. In this scene, we learn that basically Courtney just has some trauma, and she has nightmares pretty often, and that is a recurring thing in the movie, so it does make sense. It does matter. In this next scene, we meet Courtney's best friend Amy, who's driving her to school. We also officially meet Matt, not just Dream Matt, but actual Matt, who is certainly 35 years old. And we kind of get the dynamic a little bit. The girls are driving to school and kind of talking about their band, who we meet in the next scene. And their band reminds me of the Tatas from Bob's Burgers. Remember Linda's like girl band? They are like literally the exact same thing. It's super cute, super 80s, super fun. They're pretty good. I don't know who the actual like vocals and all of that comes from, like what band actually recorded the song that they sing in their practice scene, which is kind of like the next scene, I would say. But it's really good. Really good vocals. Their band's kind of rocking it out. Definitely not pre-recorded. It's totally live. Oh, there's my very fat Garfield kitty. Hello, Clover. Okay. She's exiting stage left. She's out of here. She is out of here. Sorry, I gotta blend this. So we meet Courtney's band. I don't know what they're called. I don't think they ever say what their band is called, actually. They just say that they're in a band, they practice after school, and their vocals are definitely not pre-recorded. These are totally live. Matt shows up to the band practice, and you can tell he's really enjoying it by the way that he makes direct eye contact with the camera and smiles. This is also a recurring theme that happens literally so many times. So much direct eye contact with the camera, it's unsettling. Like, especially Matt for some reason. He looks at the camera so much. I don't know what his deal is, but I'm sure it was like a directorial choice. Like, I'm sure it was on purpose. It was probably meant to be funny. Definitely, there are a lot of parts of this movie that I would assume are meant to be funny because it is very silly, and we will get into it. Matt definitely enjoys the performance, and he shows how much he enjoys the performance by looking directly into camera. He also looks directly into camera a few minutes later when Courtney invites him to go to her friend Sheila's party. They're having like her family owns basically like, I don't know if it's a lake house or like a summer house. Sheila's dad just bought this new condo. But they're going to have a party up there. Son's parents, it's just going to be the girls going wild, being crazy. And they want to invite some boys over because this is an 80s horror movie. So Courtney invites Matt, they share a little smooch, kind of just establishing that their relationship is beginning to blossom and flourish and that it's not, one-sided. He's also interested in her as well. Now, I feel like I should mention all the girls' names at this point because if I don't, I won't do it later. So this is the point where we kind of meet, we're not like introduced, we kind of meet all the girls at this scene, right? So we've got Sheila, she's the one with the like lake house or vacation house. Condo. Clearly rich, Sheila's kind of like, I don't want to say the bad girl, but she's kind of like the rebellious one. She's a little bit like the naughty one. I hate that word, but it's like a good way to describe her character, I guess. We also, obviously, we've already met Amy. Amy has all the personality of a piece of white paper. There's nothing going on there. She just serves as like Courtney's best friend. Like, that's like her whole role. She really doesn't talk that much. I guess she seems kind of like level-headed. Maybe that's who she's supposed to be. I don't know. Like the kind of like the straight man. I don't know. But that's Amy, so fun. And then we get Sally, who is my favorite of the girls. She's got a rockin' fit in this scene, dude. She looks really, really cool. And she has a side pony, but she's not a villain in a crazy 80s horror movie plot twist. So we love to see a little bit of versatility with the side ponytail. And yeah, no, Sally is definitely not a villain. She's kind of like she's a lot of comedic relief in this movie. She's kind of a lot, but I'm not mad at it. I kind of like Sally. The next scene is really not that important, but I had to mention it because Courtney is eating what looks like the worst dinner known to man. It looks horrible. It looks like dog food. So I just had to mention that. It's really not that important to the story. It's basically just her trying to convince her mom, hey, I really want to go to my friend's condo for the weekend for my birthday. Apparently her mom has forgotten her birthday because she's kind of preoccupied with Courtney's older sister, Valerie. She's the one that's in the mental hospital. And, you know, Courtney pulls the old reliable, I don't want to spend my birthday in a mental hospital if I had a nickel. So the next scene that we get after the weird dinner scene where they eat the nastiest garbage I've ever seen, she's talking to Matt at first. They're kind of chatting on the phone. I get why she's into him. He's super cute. It's just weird because he's like 35 and, you know, she's 17. So it's a little weird, but I get it. Anyway, they are kind of talking on the phone, and then Courtney goes to bed. She's also listening to the song that her band was recording, and she falls asleep. And she has another nightmare, which is, like I said, a recurring thing. A lot of this movie is about Courtney having nightmares, but I don't even know if I would classify them as nightmares or as like premonitions of what's to come, because she's kind of seems to be, I don't know that she's like psychic, but her dreams, a lot of her dreams seem to come true, or like have some kind of, I don't know. I don't know that I would call it just dreams. I think she's actually kind of potentially psychic, or they're premonitions that she's getting about what's to come. Anyway, long ramble, but all this to say, we get introduced to someone who is going to become a very central character in this film. I'm trying to think of how to describe him. He's like a greaser, also a sleep demon. It's this guy that she dreams about. He's got a really, really interesting look. Yeah, he's like a sleep demon. I guess I would say he's like a cheesier Freddy Krueger. And yes, that is possible. I didn't know either, but apparently it is possible. This movie has created a cheesier, rockabilly, Danny Zuko lookalike demon Freddy Krueger amalgamation. So we get our first glimpse at him. He has some really fun lines. I think he says something at this part. I don't know. We'll definitely come back to him though. Don't worry. There'll be plenty of our sleep dream demon dreamin' in this movie. The dreamin' will come back. Do not worry. I am gonna f with my eyebrow a little bit really quick before I get into the next part though. How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? Now it's time for the slumber party. All right. Okay, so the girls are on their way to Sheila's family's condo and they're having a totally tubular time. Sally is kind of a lot, but I love her. She's so funny. She's just goofy as hell, getting them all riled up on their way to the condo. We just have some good old-fashioned fun in the car ride there.
It's the ultimate slumber party weekend, and you girls just won 2 days and 2 nights of no parents. Do anything you want to. Good times on the slumber party weekend.
Courtney falls asleep again, and we get another glimpse of our dreamin', our weird little rockabilly guitar dude. But we do find out at this part that he has a drill guitar. Like, his guitar has a drill at the end of it, which is kind of fucking sick. Like, I can't remember the last time I liked a weapon this much. That sounds, I don't know if I should say that. I can't remember the last time I saw a weapon in a horror movie that I thought was this intriguing. Does that sound better? I think it does. It sounds a lot less murdery of me to say it like that. The drill guitar is super, super cool. And honestly, the Dreamin' can shred some pretty sick riffs. So I'm not mad at it. I think it's a really inventive killer. I will say about the killer, though, it is weird because this isn't the murderer from the first Slumber Party Massacre. It's like a totally different guy. Has nothing to do, pretty much. I think the original one used, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I think the one from the original movie used a drill, so maybe that's why, but this one is like a rocker for some reason. Like, he's very musically focused, both in style and in essence as well. So the girls get to the condo, they have a delicious feast, and then they dance around half naked with wine and whipped cream because it's 1987 and it's a slumber party. We get a lot more camera looking at this scene too. The girls are doing some fun like choreographed dances that they apparently all have practiced before somehow. And yeah, we get a lot more camera looking, and we get to meet our next little group of characters, which are TJ and Jeff. Of course, it's 1987. Of course, his name is Jeff. So in this scene, we meet TJ and Jeff, who are like the boyfriends, I guess. DJ is Sheila's boyfriend. He's kind of like the macho pig character. And then Jeff is like nice guy next door, kind of boring. He's Amy's boyfriend. It's fitting. They're both the butt ends of white bread. TJ and Jeff are kind of spying on the girls, getting a little peep show, getting to look at the goods. It's real classy, guys. Of course, Sheila gets super into it and makes everything weird. So, okay. So anyway, Jeff and TJ kind of sneak into the house. Sheila discovers them, and she's also miraculously not covered in feathers anymore, even though in the previous scene, the girls had been having a pillow fight and were coated in feathers, so nice. We love that continuity. Gotta have that. We kind of get introduced to the guys a little bit. Like I said, TJ's kind of like the chauvinist pig, and Jeff, I almost called him Greg because Jeff and Greg are like interchangeable white guy names, but Jeff is just like the nice guy. He's not really a big character in this. Anyway, that night we kind of find out that Sheila and TJ are, I guess, dating because they're boinking like really loud, like everybody can hear them. And meanwhile, Courtney is sleeping in bed with like her friend. They're sleeping and Courtney starts having another like sexy little dream about Matt, the 35-year-old that she's interested in. We also get introduced to Danny Zuko gone bad. It becomes unclear whether he's trying to murder Courtney or like boink her. He seems kind of like he wants to sleep with her. I don't know. So the next day, everybody's chilling at the pool. They're kind of hungover, you know. Been there. All kind of talking about the crazy night that they had. And we get to know TJ a little bit better. Spoiler alert. TJ's kind of a real a-hole, okay? He like pushes or kind of throws Courtney into the pool, even though she's already having a rough enough time. She's like talking about how she's hungover and she had like these crazy dreams. He like pushes her into the pool. Not helpful, TJ. Thanks, though. She also sees the sleep demon guy again. I looked it up online. I think people call him the driller killer, which like makes way more sense than whatever I'm saying, but I don't know, I really like the word dreamin'. Anyway, at least Jeff is noble enough to jump in and save her and pull her out of the pool, and then TJ, you know, apologizes like an asshole.
Sorry about that. How's your headache?
And then meanwhile in the house, Sally's got her own serious problems going on, okay?
My face is turning into one big pimple. It's really embarrassing.
Honestly, I can't even be mad at it though, because that's how dramatic I am about one pimple too. So I totally felt her in this scene. I felt like she really represented teenage girls quite well. It's like the end of the world, you know? I like how my lips have just been red this whole time and no one said anything. And yes, I am stopping to put on a lip mask because my lips are real chapped, okay? Okay. Anyway, we get a lot of filler scenes at this part. It's really not super important to the story. Just the girls' band playing, TJ being like obsessed with a blow-up doll, Courtney staring at a picture of Matt and like kissing it and stuff. You know, normal everyday shit. Also, Courtney gets kind of attacked by a raw chicken. Our girl Courtney decides, you know what, I've had about enough of these shenanigans. I'm gonna take a bath. So she goes upstairs, she's filling up the tub, and then it's a little bit, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street adjacent. Honestly, this whole movie kind of, you know, has some undertones, obviously, of Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, she decides to go upstairs and pour herself a big old bubble bath. I feel like I can do that better. Bubble bath? Yeah. I don't know. She goes upstairs and she draws herself a big old bubble bath. She starts hallucinating again. Like, dude, someone's on the rag, apparently, because the tub starts overflowing with blood. So she runs and grabs Sally, who is still obsessing over her pimple. She's, you know, she's pretty choked up about this whole pimple thing. Anyway, Courtney runs and grabs her, and then it just turns out that it was a hallucination, and, you know, the tub's just overflowing with water. Happens to the best of us. Oh, we do get a nasty riff too, courtesy of our little green demon. So thanks for that, buddy, because we needed we needed something, you know? We needed to be reminded of his existence because we haven't seen him enough, right? We're kind of waiting for him to appear and start murdering people because nobody's been killed yet. I mean, you know, obviously Courtney was attacked by that chicken. That scared all of us, of course. But nobody's been murdered yet. Sorry, I gotta just really pat this gray in here. Smoky eyes take a lot of focus, okay? A lot of smokus. I guess the whole thing was basically just another dream, so who would have thought? Sally tries to relate.
Hey, I know what you mean. The weirdest things are happening to my face. I mean, I have got the fastest growing zit I've ever had in my entire life.
We do get some gnarly zit gore at this part though, which I didn't expect. Like, she kept talking about the zit and it was kind of like, I just thought it was comedic relief. Like, oh, it's a teenage girl. She doesn't even have a zit, but she's acting like she does. She's freaking out about it, whatever. We've all been there. No, we get like a bunch of zit gore, like pus squirting out all over the place. It's really gross. Probably cannot include it here, but I definitely recommend, even if you don't watch this movie, like, you like gore, just kind of look up the zit popping scene if you can find it. It's pretty nasty. And you know what, actually, like, the special effects makeup, obviously it wasn't super realistic, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was kind of fun at this part. It was kind of grotesque and weird and just like nasty. I don't know, it was a fun little surprise in this scene. I also just really like Sally's character. I think she's funny. She's very, like, stereotypical teenage girl, but also super funny. Gives a lot of comedic relief to the movie. Sally's zit just explodes all over the place, freaks Courtney out. Thanks a lot, Court. She was already feeling really self-conscious about this zit, and now Courtney goes running out of the room. Matt shows up and the gang thinks Courtney is like crazy because she's been kind of freaking out this whole time, right? She's
Taking too many diet pills. Hey, she's ruining my weekend.
been wigging out. She's kind of ruining everybody's good time. They just want to party, get drunk, and have sex. And she's over here screaming about how there's like a murderous rockabilly drill killer guy on the loose. And they've kind of had it. So they're over it. However, she does tell them that Sally was murdered and they can't find Sally. So they all start getting a little bit paranoid, a little bit nervous, except for, of course, TJ, because he has the tact and intelligence, sensitivity of equivalent of like a teaspoon. So he doesn't really care too much. He's like, you guys are freaking out. You're ruining my good time. I think he even says she's ruining my weekend.
Hey, she's ruining my weekend.
It's actually exactly like that. But, you know, TJ's pissed. But even though he's annoyed, the other girls decide, you know what, we're going to call the police. Just because we can't find Sally. She's been gone for a while. Nobody's seen her. And Courtney's yelling about how she, you know, exploded her zit all over everybody. So they decide, you know what, we're calling the cops. We're getting the boys in blue over here. So we call the cops, and no worries here. Detective Mullet and Detective Eyebrows are on the case, and they're here to gaslight the gang. They show up and basically tell them, stop wasting our time. We don't believe you. They're super unhelpful, you know, right? Because it's a horror movie, and cops, you know, I'm not saying anything about actual cops. I'm just saying in horror movies, classically, the police are not usually helpful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They're not helpful. And we also find out here, too, that Detective Eyebrows' name is Detective Kruger.
No, rip your lungs out.
Come on, Kruger. Denny's is holding our booth.
Real subtle. Real subtle, guys. All of a sudden, as the gang is kind of being, like, chastised by the cops, basically, the cops are telling them, yeah, you know, we don't believe you. Sally walks in, and everybody's like, oh, we were wrong. She's totally fine. And Courtney's totally bugging. Sally walks in, basically says, oh, yeah, she just went to the store to get more zit cream. So, could have predicted that. Honestly, I think TJ did. I think he even said, like, she probably went to the store.
Great, man. God, she probably just went to the store.
And she comes in, she's all, oh my god, I just got more Oxy-10. I'm fine, guys. I don't know what Oxy-10 is. I guess it's something for acne. So anyway, everybody decides to leave. They want food, and they're kind of sick of Courtney, like, ruining their good times. They decide, hey, we're hitting it. We're going to go get some dinner. Courtney and Matt decide to stay behind. You know, Matt's really just trying to be, like, a nice, supportive guy. He clearly really likes her. So he decides, you know what, we're going to stay behind, and I'm going to somehow miraculously come up with this cake with a bunch of candles on it. I don't know if he, like, baked this cake. I don't know. This really got me because I was like, did he bring that with him, or did he like make her sit and wait while he baked, let cool, frosted, and put candles on a cake for her birthday? Like, that takes time. That takes like at least an hour, right? Yeah, for it to cool and everything. I don't know. The cake thing really took me out of it. I was like, so how does he have this? I don't know. It felt very 16 Candles, honestly. Like, it was very like, make a wish. It's already come true. It was giving that. And I was like, okay, so they're also ripping off like not horror movies? I don't know, whatever. I was wondering, as I'm sure we all are, when's somebody gonna die? Because we're like 40 minutes in or something like that. And that's a long time, you know, to wait for a death. Well, have no fear. At this part, just as the cake suddenly disappears, did they eat it? I don't know. But the cake disappears. Courtney and Matt are macking on each other, and then all of a sudden, we get our dream demon, and he's come to life. They don't explain it, but somehow the dreamin' has come into the real world, just like Freddy Krueger does, and he drills his drill guitar right through Matt's chest as him and Courtney are kind of like, you know, doing stuff. So that was a bummer, you know. I kind of liked Matt. Yeah, at this part, he seemed really like level-headed and insightful, which it's probably because he's like 30, you know, he's seen some things. But he was kind of relating to her. He kind of knows about Courtney's past trauma. He says some really interesting stuff here that we can insert.
Help kill the murderer, and that's a really heavy trip.
Yeah, I would say that's a heavy trip, Matt. We also hear that all of the traumatic events from the first movie took place at the Craven's house. Wes Craven. Really, really subtle, guys. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my eyeliner on camera. I may have to... Here, let me just, like, choke up in this mirror really quick and be quiet, and I'll do it. I was pretty bummed by this, you know. I was really enjoying Matt's sage 47-year-old wisdom, you know. So I was kind of bummed that he was the first one to die. But yeah, he dies a very brutal and graphic death. And Courtney goes running out of the room. At the same time, luckily, the gang is coming back. They're kind of, you know, still having their good time. They were at like a diner or something. I don't know. They don't say, but I'm just imagining. And they're coming back in, talking about how they're going to like play the instruments and just hang out and have, you know, a good time. Courtney comes running downstairs, and right behind her is the driller killer. The dreamin' come to life with his drill guitar, ready to slash some kids up. So finally, we kind of get to like the meat and potatoes of the movie. We get through all the fluff scenes, and we are here with murder. Gosh. So anyway, the gang is just trying to like chill for a sec. But the dreamin' has other plans. He shows up, he's got his guitar, he's like, who wants some of this? The kids all have totally normal responses, especially TJ. Let's put his right here. And then the dreamin', the driller killer, whatever he's called, says my favorite line right here. It's party time, kiddies.
It's party time, kitties.
Which was like so hard to watch and not laugh at. I 100% did. But yeah, anyway, so that happened. I really like that is like, wait, hold on, guys. Let me grab this turquoise floor lamp. Like, it's gonna do something. He's just holding it like, like there's a guy with like a blood-covered drill guitar, and he's like swinging it around at people. And he's like, oh, let me grab this decorative lamp. Like, he thinks that that's gonna make a difference. I kind of liked Jeff in this moment. They made me like him a little bit in this moment. Anyway, oh, Fig has a lot to say. I know. Demon killer guy starts kind of chasing him around. And I was bummed at this because Sally doesn't even try. Like, you gotta try, Sally. Don't let it suck your will to live. Like, she just totally gives up, gets murdered, gets drilled, you know. I feel like I shouldn't say drilled. That could mean two things. She gets murdered by this crazy rockabilly dude, drills her right through the chest, same kind of thing as he did with Matt.
Yeah.
Courtney and Amy, who I know I haven't mentioned Amy in a while, but yeah, boring, sorry. They get away somehow. They like get into the car, they're driving away, but of course, this is a horror movie, and we all know who's gonna pop up in the back seat. It's the killer. Yeah, thank you, Fig. It's the killer. Pops up in the back seat and says something cheesy. I can't remember. We could probably insert it here.
This is dedicated to the one I love.
Murders Jeff, who's driving the car. So then the girls got to get out of there. They got to scram because their getaway driver is super dead, dude. Jeff gets got. So, owie. The girls got to run out of there. And hello, Clover. Simultaneously, we also see that TJ and Sheila got away as well. They ran off in their own little group, but TJ definitely got hurt. He's kind of limping. He kind of got wrecked by that drill guitar, like in the legs. So they're trying to get away. They're like pounding on doors of people's houses, like, help us. Of course, the neighbors are super unhelpful because, again, this is a horror movie and they, you know, have to be unhelpful. I need to blend out me contour all milk sculpt stick. This is my favorite contour ever. Like, this is the best contour stick. It's so good. I feel like I've probably used this in every video, but I can't help it. I love it so much. Anyway, somehow the Dreamin' finds TJ and Sheila and he murders them. Maximum bummer, dude. Sheila and TJ are dead, and instead of like running away and trying to find like a different house or something like that, Amy and Courtney end up back at the house that they were already at, I guess. They thought that was the best course of action. And they call the gaslighting cops from earlier. Remember Detective Eyebrows and Detective Mullet? They call them, and basically the detectives tell them, you know what, we're not helping you because we don't believe you, and tell them not to call back and hang up on them. So love that. Super, super glad that these people are supposed to protect them because they're doing a bang up job of it. So the girls decide that they are gonna like wait it out, I guess, until morning and then run out of the house again. I don't really know what the plan is. The plan's unclear, which that makes sense, you know? I feel like if you're in one of these situations, like, we all want to be like, oh, you idiot, like, do this, do that, but this has got to be like traumatic, man. Like, this is the second massacre that she's lived through at this point, and she's like 17. That's got to be rough, man. So I get it. They're probably just like, you know, not thinking straight. I wouldn't be. I would be freaking out. So I guess the girls are just gonna stay put and wait until daylight, and then they're gonna try to run out of there and get help, or they're gonna try to call the cops again or something like that. Anyway, I lied. I totally forgot. Sheila is still alive somehow. TJ's dead, but Sheila is alive. So she has the same thought somehow as the other girls. She's like, I'm going back to the house too. Not sure why that is, but sure. Okay. So she also ends up back at the house, and I know what you're thinking, you know? I know what you're thinking. The driller killer is too busy for like a number, right? He's too busy to perform. He's murdering people right now. So he's not gonna like, you know, break out into like a 3-minute song that has nothing to do with the movie, is he? Yeah, he is gonna do that actually.
Now it's time for the fun part.
This is the first of multiple musical numbers by the Dreamin'. This one's called Let's Buzz, a song that seemingly has nothing to do with anything in the movie. It kind of slapped, like it wasn't bad. I was like, all right, I'm kind of feeling this, you know? It's a good song.
I love the jamming to the floor, let the twice spots roll.
If you're thinking, oh, this movie's just gonna be like a typical movie of some random dream demon guy murdering teenagers, wrong-o. It is not. It's also a musical. It's a horror musical. I mean, there's only a few musical numbers, but there were more than what would be in the average horror movie. But anyway, he breaks out into song while he's murdering Sheila, and she kind of just doesn't try to get away. She had plenty of time to run. He's doing a whole number, girl. I mean, come on. And she's just backed up against the wall, terrified. I wouldn't be able to take him seriously. I would be laughing in his face. I don't get the point. Is he supposed to be like a tortured artist and his songs aren't doing that well because they're kind of old school, so now he has to kill people because he's depressed? I don't know. I don't get the point. I don't think there necessarily is a point to him in this whole rockabilly side plot thing, but you know what? I gotta say, I enjoyed it. It was a nice twist. It was something different. I thought I knew it all. I thought I knew exactly what this movie was going to be, and I was incorrect. I didn't know that we were going to get a musical number like this. And the girls also performed several musical numbers too, so I got, you know what, it's totally kind of a musical. He murders Sheila with his very cool and unique weapon. I wasn't super mad. So Johnny Depp in Crybaby over here murders Sheila by Sheila. He tries to pull like a Jack Torrance on the girls. You know, we get a little bit of a Shining ripoff. Kind of like the Temu Here's Johnny. Then the girls try to escape out the window. Suddenly he's on the roof, like shredding, just doing another sick riff on his little murderous drill guitar. I know what you're thinking again. He doesn't have time to do another number. Like, he's still got to kill 2 more teenagers, right? They're still alive. Again, you'd be wrong. We get another number, right? Like back to back. I was wondering at this part, as I'm sure we've all kind of wondered here, can he be killed in the real world? He's kind of like Freddy Krueger in the way that like he exists in dreams, but now he's in the real world. I don't know. They really didn't describe it or like explain anything. Can he be killed in the real world? This will all be answered, but you know, that was my thought process at this part. I had a lot of time to think because he was singing again for like another. This one was like longer, I think, than Let's Buzz. Like, this one was long. As much as I like his like little one-liners, I gotta say, I keep comparing him to Freddy Krueger, but they're no Welcome to Primetime bitch. Like, that one was, that's a classic, and these ones are kind of, they're very cheesy. For better or worse, they're cheesy. Okay, I'm back, and I have lashes now. Yay. So anyway, this next song that we get to listen to in full length is called Can't Stop Loving You. Again, it was pretty good. Like, it was a good song. Like, it was well written, well recorded, well performed, all of that. But it just didn't seem to have anything to do with the movie. I was so confused. And this really fed into that whole weird thing of him, like, wanting to sleep with Courtney, but also wanting to murder her. I was just really perplexed, I think would be a good word to describe how I was feeling at this moment. Confused, bewildered, I just didn't understand. I was like, why is this happening? Why are we singing full-length songs while we're chasing these teenagers through construction? We're running through the construction while we're getting another full-length song. Amy falls to her death, unfortunately. So, like, bye, girl. Peace. What did they say? Love, peace, and chicken grease. Something like that. It's just Courtney and the Dreamin' now. It's down to our final girl. We knew who it was going to be. She's already been kind of a final girl in a way. So, had to be her, right? It also seems like the Dreamin' is pretty much obsessed with her. Like, he doesn't really care about the other kids. He really wants her in more ways than one. Both to murder and to, bump uglies with, let's put it that way. It's nice though, at least Amy doesn't have to hear the rest of Pony Boy's discography over here. She gets to at least die, so small victories. I'm joking. His music is not bad. I just was kind of over listening to like full songs by this point. I was ready to just watch murder. I feel like I shouldn't say that. I was ready to just get on with the movie. I've been doing brown blush lately. This is the Danessa Myricks Spiced Latte blush. This is so pretty. These blushes are gorgeous. I want one in every color. They're so beautiful. Ooh, like Hello Pigment, my god. But they do blend out really soft. I just overdid it a little bit. They're like pigmented, kind of like the Rare Beauty liquids, but they're not patchy. Like, they blend out really nicely as I'm like literally blending out this huge chunk of blush. Anyway, I also noticed at this point, side note, this guy's laugh is like insufferable. He laughs, he like does this weird like cackle. It's intense. And I get it. As somebody who has a really like cackly, kind of like nasal Midwest laugh and voice in general, I get it, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Courtney has a showdown on the roof with the Dreamin'. It's just her and him down to the Dreamin' and the final girl. They get onto the roof, and then I guess he can be murdered in real life because she lights him on fire. And then he falls off the roof, engulfed in flames, falls off the roof. He is dead, supposedly. It actually felt kind of anticlimactic. I think because at this point I was kind of out of it just because I've been watching a musical and I was kind of desensitized to what was going on in general. I think I was just like, sure, why not? Whatever, I guess, at this point, right? Like, it was just, I don't know. It was anticlimactic a little bit. He dies. And then all of a sudden I guess it's morning because it's light out. Sorry, I'm trying to blend this. I'm kind of hungry. it's morning because it is light out, and they're paramedics and whatnot wheeling away the dead bodies. And then there's like this weird cutaway, like as they're wheeling away Amy's dead body, she like opens her eyes and laughs. The demons laugh. So it's like, oh no, he's still alive or something. He's not dead. Oh God. We kind of cut away from that, and we're back in Courtney's like original bedroom from the beginning of the movie. And my immediate thought was like, oh, it was all a dream. Like, oh boy, you know, that old trope. And I don't really know if that's the case or not, because Courtney is laying in her bed, just like in the beginning of the movie, and she's laying there with Matt, who is alive apparently. And she kind of rolls over, starts, you know, macking on him a little bit. All of a sudden, boom, we see gloves, and what's this? Cigarette smoke? All of a sudden, she is making out with the Dreamin', who is apparently alive. And I think he says something stupid here too.
I love you.
All of a sudden, she's making out with the Dreamin', and then it cuts away to her waking up in the psych ward. She wakes up in the psych ward that her sister was in the beginning of the movie. And we see his guitar, the drill like shoots up through the floor, and we hear his insufferable cackle once more, and then the movie ends. Is Courtney dead? Was it all a dream? Was she in the mental hospital the whole time? Did she end up in the mental hospital after the events of this film? Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I tried to look it up and get some clarification on this, but it's one of those movies where it's kind of like a choose your own ending thing, where it's like, I don't know, you decide what happened, which is really annoying. It's really annoying. I don't like movies like that. I want to be told what the ending is. Tell me. It reminds me, the only movie that I like that is Shutter Island. That's kind of like you can kind of decide on your own, I guess. So I'm gonna have to do my lips while I do my wrap up. Again, I did not time this well. And yes, I know this is the tiniest little lip pencil. This is my Anastasia Chai lip pencil, and I love it so much. I don't want to waste any of it. It's like my favorite lip liner. Final thoughts about Slumber Party Massacre Part 2. I think I could summarize my final thoughts basically just by saying, what the hell was that?
What the hell is even that?
Right? Like in the best possible way though. Not one scene of this movie bored me. Even the like 19 musical numbers I had to sit through. Wasn't bored, wasn't mad at it, would do it again, have done it again. Actually, I've watched this movie like 3 times at this point. Mostly so that I could study it a little bit, right? But also because it was entertaining. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. I felt like it was more of a parody actually than it was like a genuine horror movie, right? Because none of it was scary. It wasn't scary in the way that we love to see from horror movies, right? But a lot of times on this channel, they are not scary, or at least not to me. Maybe, again, I think I've said it before, but I'm so desensitized at this point. I've seen enough movies that are actually scary that these films are just guilty pleasure, like fun watches. God, I've said like and so much. Noah, you were gonna kill me. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I can't help it, babes. Well, it seemed like a parody. It did have everything that we know and love about 80s horror in it. This movie had everything that we know and love about 80s horror in it. It had boobs, it had butts, it had banging bods, and lots of blood. So definitely would recommend if you are into like campy, cheesy 80s horror. This is a really good go-to. I did think that the killer was bizarre, but also entertaining and interesting and different. I do think that the drill guitar is one of my favorite weapons I've ever seen. It was super metal. I loved it. I thought it was very creative. Did it really make sense with the movie and the plot and everything? No, not really, but hey, at least it wasn't boring, right? Didn't really get why the killer was a greaser. That never really was explained. Yeah, I didn't really understand like why the killer kind of wanted to sleep with Courtney, but he also wanted to murder her. It was really confusing. He spoke in like riddles and really weird like phrasing. I don't know, but it, like I said, it was entertaining. It was worth a watch. If you want to watch something that'll give you a good laugh and maybe a little bit of 80s nostalgia, this is a great movie for that. If If you want to hear some actually pretty decent music at full length, like 10 different songs, it's a good go-to. But yeah, I will say I have a special place in my heart for campy, cheesy 80s horror, and at least it wasn't boring. At least it wasn't boring. Even the filler scenes were entertaining in their own special little way. For this reason alone, if we're using my little pumpkin scale, which we should probably insert right here, this one's gonna get a 3.5 pumpkins, I think, actually. Is it like, can I say it's a good movie? No, but it's very, very fun and definitely worth the watch. So I gotta give credit where it's due. I'm gonna give it 3.5 pumpkins. I know, better than Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. Shocking but true, yes. I enjoyed it more than Prom Night, I will say that. Prom Night had a lot of like filler that I didn't really care about and a lot of characters that I didn't care about. I did like that one too, also very, you know, campy, nostalgic, all of that good stuff, but I don't know, this one was a lot more fun. Anyway, I will say too, they made a sequel that I enjoyed more than the original, so snaps. If I could snap my fingers, I would, but I can't. Oh, kinda. Very rare that we find a sequel that is better than the original, but anyway, I do think there are some other ones after this too. I think there's like Slumber Party Massacre 3 and 4, and I think there's more of them, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong. I could be talking out of my ass right now. That's definitely possible. But anyway, what else would you like to see me review? I like how I'm using my mascara as if I'm like interviewing right now. What else would you like to see me review? That is it for me today. Please leave comments, subscribe, share this video, tell your friends that like horror, that like makeup, that like both, preferably. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about Slumber Party Massacre 2 down below, and let me know what else you would like to see for my channel. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.